Good morning, everybody. This is Mel Soul at the Tupelo Bay Golf Center. We're on the 9th hole, which is a nice little par 3 with a split level green. And course management today is about chipping, managing the clubs you use and where you land the ball. So for me, if I'm chipping with a pitching wedge, my ball will usually fly in the air about halfway and roll about halfway. My 8-iron will fly about 1/3 and roll 2/3, and my 6-iron will fly about 1/4 and roll 3/4. The golden rule in chipping is always to try and just get the ball on the green and let it run out to the flag. Now, this particular shot here, I've already paced this off, and I'm 40 yards from the flag, and to the edge of the green is about 20 yards. So this is a half air time, half ground time. Now, I could take my lob wedge and hit a 40-yard pitch shot, but with the higher handicaps, the danger here is if you miss-hit it and it comes up a little short, it's going to roll all the way down that severe upslope and end up right at the front of the green, leaving you with a really tough putt up the hill. I want to make sure that I get this ball on the top level. So I want to land this ball 2 or 3 foot on the green. Because we're going uphill, I have to counter that by taking 1 extra club. So instead of my pitching wedge doing my half air time, half ground time, I'm actually going to take my 9-iron to counter that little uphill. So I'm planning on just hitting a little chip shot. So you can see I don't have to swing very hard. And you can see that ball rolled up very nicely up onto the top level, leaving me with about a 10-foot putt. So if I'm a little closer, I'm going to get my other clubs here. If I'm a little closer, and now I've got about a 1/3, 2/3. The key here, folks, is make sure you pace it off. I would walk from my ball to the flag. I'd walk all the way to the flag, and I know, because I paced it off already, that it's 30 paces. I would walk back to here. To here, we've already established that it's 20. So I've got 10 air time, 20 ground time. That's a 1/3 air time, 2/3 ground time. That's normally my 8-iron. But because of that severe upslope, I'm actually going to take my 7-iron. If this was a flat green, I would use the 8, but I'm actually going to take my 7-iron. And again, now I'm going to land it on the bottom level and let it run up. That's a much easier shot for the average golfer. So again, all I'm doing is hitting a little chip shot. It'll go very low. It rolls up the hill. Again, leaves me with a makeable putt. And then finally, when I'm really close to the green and I've got about 1/4 air time and 3/4 ground time, now I can take a 6-iron. Now, a lot of you are going, wow, I've never chipped with a 6-iron before. Go and practice it. This is a fun shot and it's an easy shot. This is much easier to hit a 6-iron here than try and take your pitching wedge. I guarantee you most amateurs hitting their pitching wedge or the sandwich are going to come up way short and roll back to the front of the green. I know with a 6-iron I'm going to put it on the top level. Even if I don't get it really, really close, I've got it on the top level. I don't have to worry about the severe upslope anymore. So again, I'm going to pace it off. This is the key. This is the course management part, is don't just guess where it is. I want you to walk from the ball to the hole, walk back 3/4 of the distance and say, okay, that's where I have to land the ball. So once I've done that, when I do my practice swing, I always look at where I want to land the ball. So I get a feel. Don't want to look down here at the ground. I want to look where I want to land the ball. And then when I go to the ball, okay, so that one actually rolled a little bit short. And the reason was I landed the ball a little bit too short. I needed to fly this about 3 or 4 foot on the green, and I didn't. So when you're practicing, if I hit a shot like that when I'm practicing, remember, every shot is an adjustment on the previous shot. So that one, obviously I made my pendulum too small, didn't fly the ball in the air as far as I wanted it to, so as it got up that hill it really killed the speed. So now I'm going to make my pendulum bigger because I want to land this ball a little further on the green. So I'll make my pendulum a little bit bigger. And there it rolled up onto the top level, again leaving me a makeable putt. So when you're on the course, a lot of people think, oh, to walk all the way back and walk, people behind are going to be my playing partners, it's going to take too much time. I tell you, I do this every round that I play and people don't even know that I'm doing it. Because as I get out the cart, I walk past my ball and I start counting all the way to the flag. Then I walk back to a spot, usually 3 or 4 foot on the green, to about here. And then I'm saying, okay, is this a halfway? Is this a third of the way? Or is this a quarter of the way? If it's halfway, I'm going to chip with my pitching wedge. If it's a third of the way, I'm going to take my 8-iron. If it's a quarter of the way, I'm going to take my 6-iron. If I've got an uphill like this, I'm going to add 1 club. If we were chipping from the other side of the green and the flag was down here and I had to come downhill, I would subtract 1 club. So instead of the 6, I'd go to the 7. So practice understanding which club in your bag is your 1/4, 3/4, because different manufacturers have different lofts. So sometimes somebody's pitching wedge is not going to be the same as my 48 degree. Maybe your pitching wedge is 45. Definitely the ball's then going to roll further. So go and practice and hit some chips. Find out which is your half air time, half ground time club, which is your 1/3, 2/3, and which is your 1/4, 3/4. Then when you're on the golf course, you know exactly which club to take and exactly where to land the ball for that ball to consistently finish next to the hole. Bring this into your game, you will lower your scores for sure.